Hello and welcome to the Monocle Weekly. This time I had the pleasure to speak with Turkish-Italian DJ and producer Carlita. We spoke about fashion and music and her latest release, a mixed compilation by London's most important club, Fabric. Here is Carlita with more. Carlita, what a pleasure. Welcome to Monocle Radio. Let's talk about your music. There's lots of exciting projects, and actually, if you don't mind, shall we start with Fabric Presents Carlita, which is a new compilation that just came out this month. So tell us a bit more. How was the process to make this selection of music, which includes new music from you as well?
Actually, I'm very proud of that project. It's a really exciting one. I basically I did like a compilation of people that I admire, that I asked their music, like if I could use their music. And it was kind of like a licensing. You have to ask them, can I use your track for this compilation? Is it out yet? So it was kind of like a long communication between artists and myself. And I compiled. And meanwhile, I gave 2 exclusive tracks to Fabric. That one, it was already produced. And other track, the second one, I produced according to the compilation. I'm like, okay, I want to do something to how it's going to fit to the mix. So the second track, which came out just right now, called Can't Stop, it's just basically written for the compilation. And other track, first track, Raf, I wrote that track for my best friend, Raf, who was an amazing fashion photographer, Rafael Pavarotti. He's amazing. And actually, basically, long story short, like for that song was like, I got like a phone call from him and he's like, hey, I'm doing some exciting project for Vogue Italia. I'm like, okay. And he's like, do you want to play? Like, we're just basically teaming up with Katie Grant and Francesca, the editor of Vogue Italia, and myself. And I'm like, okay, that's amazing. Of course, I'm in. And then the event was fantastic. He took the pictures, like, meanwhile, that it was going to go for a cover. And the event was actually so fun. And like, it was like an iconic night for sure.
And that cover is beautiful, Vogue Italia, by the way. I think it came out, it was the December issue from last year, right? It's quite iconic, very disco-esque as well.
It was very unexpected. I didn't know that I was going to be in the cover, but like, yeah, I love it so much. Like, apparently it's the first DJ ever in a Vogue cover, so it's very special for sure. Basically, that he asked me to do music for the video of that night. And that's why I saved the file name as Rough, and I never changed it. So that track is completely written for that memory.
Oh, that's beautiful. You have amazing music. I love your solo album from last year as well. But what was the vibe you're going through with this compilation? Because of course it's a mix of different artists. Is it something you wanted a lot of kind of different music together, or something that you can just listen along and just feel the vibe? I wonder what was the process of picking some of those tracks?
To be honest, Fabric is an institution, and every time I go there, like, I always listen like an amazing underground ravey music. And so I wanted to go a little bit more underground compared to my album. My album was more it was more chill and more like a journey. No, Fabric was a completely journey also, but Fabric was for me a dancing and ravey journey, versus my album is more listening, chilling.
No, that's a good comparison. And, you mentioned your friend, Rafael Pavarotti, a great fashion photographer. What's your connection actually with the fashion industry? Because I know they love you. You're on the cover of Vogue Italia and you play, a lot of parties from that industry. Was it something quite organic, or are you someone that is actually very interested in fashion itself?
Both. I love fashion. I'm very into fashion, of course, but also everything happened very organically, because nowadays music is not house music, I would say. Music been always connected to fashion, but I think especially right now house music is extremely connected to fashion. you see a lot of creative directors coming to, for instance, to Circo Loco. You see them in Circo Loco dancing. And I was at the right time, right place. A lot of the times, I would say. A lot of people saw me playing and they're like, okay, she's amazing. Like, let's get her to this fashion gig. And then after that, like slowly last 2 years, I start getting invited to the shows to watch more. It's become a more than DJing. It's just becoming, I think it's more becoming a persona that goes to the fashion events. And yeah, it's now become first started as a love, and then now it become like a lifestyle, I would say.
Well, and let's be honest here, music and fashion is such a powerful combination. And even when when I watch the shows from Paris, Milan, New York, to be honest, the soundtrack of a show can kind of sometimes make or break a collection. Maybe I'm exaggerating here, but I do think there's a massive importance to the music, right?
Absolutely. Like sometimes I even get it there, like, oh, like the music was even better than the collection. I got it a couple of times for people talking about it. Yeah, 100%. It's like, as I feel like people criticize the collection, and also they criticize about the music also. They're like, oh, music was good, music was not good, music was insane. So I feel like they're like music and fashion walking together, and it's been like that since the beginning.
And one thing, of course, I've been reading a few articles about you that I think is fascinating. You're a DJ, but you know how to play a few instruments. You're with cello, for example. So how do you use that knowledge of the instruments, to play with your music? Is there kind of a connection? I mean, tell us a bit more, because it's great. I mean, you're very much a professional. You play classical cello and I think other instruments as well, right?
I do play drums, guitar, bass guitar, a little bit of piano and cello. I do record some of the instruments on my music, not always, but when it's appropriate for the track, I love recording, especially like percussions and drums. I love live recording it, and the bass. And also, of course, playing instruments helped me to songwrite easier for myself, because for me, I didn't learn the software first. I learned first the instruments. And then I had to learn how to write the instruments in the software. So it's kind of easy writing.
You are Turkish-Italian. Are those countries influential somehow in your music? But you're also based between Paris and New York. So, you're everywhere in that sense. But was there any country that perhaps influenced you more musically?
I grew up in Turkey, I would say. But Turkey is a country that you meet East and West. So that makes you, when you grow up in Turkey, that makes you influence a lot of the Eastern culture, which like a Middle Eastern and like those kind of music, the lifestyle and culture. And when you also think that the Western culture, that you can get a lot of influence from it. So actually it's very funny, because people, when you're Turkish, it's hard to understand that if you're Turkish or not, because they're like, oh, where is she from? Is she Mexican? Is she like European? No, she's not even European. Maybe she's from like Middle East. And I'm like, so it's a country that you don't really understand where are you from. So I think because growing up in Turkey, I got influenced by so many cultures because of the country's position, the history and the music, the culture, but also because of my grandparents. My grandpa mainly, I listened a lot of Italian music, old Italian music. So I'm really into, I think, a lot of things. And of course, studying in the US, like getting into so many music culture in US, hip hop. Like, I feel like I have a very, very diverse style, and that comes from me changing my locations and of course my culture, I would say.
Oh, I think that's fascinating. And here on Monocle, when I kind of do the playlist here on our radio station, I'm using more and more Turkish artists. I think there's an interesting scene happening there, I would say, with pop music and other styles as well. I wonder if you could give us a preview of some of where will you be performing this spring, summer? I know there's a place that I would like to be at, Sunset DJ Set in Paris. I think that's at the end of May, right?
Yeah, that's a really exciting one. Like, it's like a one-off gig I got. Like, they're like, do you want to play in Eiffel Tower? I'm like, of course, that's iconic.
You and Celine Dion.
Why not? That's an exciting one. Circo Loco opening is end of April, 28th of April. That's also an exciting one. I'm really looking forward to play for Primavera Festival in Barcelona. It's on June 8th, I believe. Exactly, Glastonbury Festival, of course, I love. That's also end of June. I might or might not do a pop-up in Paris for Fête de la Musique, which I'm excited. Yeah, like many shows are coming. EDC Las Vegas, May 17. And I'm going first time to Japan. Extremely excited. And I turned my show to a holiday for 10 days, so I'm really looking forward for it. And yeah, many shows in summer, really exciting. And next week I'm speaking in Harvard, which I'm also very excited. And then I'm gonna play in a frat house in Harvard. It's gonna be like a surprise-ish show, and yeah.
I love it. What a diverse list of places to be playing. And finally, I'd just like to ask you, Carlita, what song do you always have to play? Because you know that it's going to make the dance floor be in a very good vibe.
I always play my track time end of my sets because people really like it and they know the lyrics usually and they start singing. And if they don't know it, they usually Shazam it. So I actually play it. But yeah, I think that's the only song I play 100% on my sets for sure.
I love your song TV Disco from your album Sentimento. It's really nice, actually.
I'm so happy you like that one because that's one of the tracks that didn't get the most attention, I think. And it's actually one of my favorites in the album too. Like 2 tracks. One is that one, another one is Falling. And those are the tracks that got the least attention.
After this interview, people will start listening to them again. Amazing. Listen, Carlita, what a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully I'll see you in one of your gigs. Who knows, maybe the Sunset one in Paris. But thank you so much for chatting with us. Thank you very much, Carlita. The show was edited by Elliot Greenfield. Thank you for listening.